Guys, have I got something absolutely revelatory for you today, something for which I will have to do a full-length video at some point because I did not realize this until I looked into it while I was producing this video. But real quick, before we get to that, we have the training camp practice day 13 to get to. Unfortunately, because it rains every day here in England, Missouri, we don't have a whole lot of notes to go over, but there are. So maybe there's not a whole lot of notes to go over, but the notes that we do have to go over are way juicier or at least more news riddled than they have been the past few days, including starting right here. Pete tweeted out the injury report for today, not practicing for the Chiefs on Wednesday. Wide receiver Hollywood Brown, wide receiver Rashee Rice, tight end Jake Brenningstool, linebacker Cam Jones, linebacker Drew Tranquil, and cornerback Christian Fulton. Hopefully, Rashee Rice just threw up on the sidelines again and they decided to hold him out. Man, would it be wild if there was another something that kept both Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice out. My request is that the Kansas City Chiefs do not report any injury to Rashee Rice so that when the NFL does suspend him, they had no idea he was injured anyway. Why couldn't they have suspended him last year while he was out with that injury? But I have heard nothing about Rashee Rice. I have heard nothing about the injury. From what I gather from people who were there, he was in the tent prior to practice. So I don't know if this is something that just popped up. I don't know if this was something that he was planning to receive, for which he was planning to receive treatment in the first place. No idea. Just all of a sudden, Rashee Rice is out. Maybe it's just routine, like it was with Jared Wiley, right? He had some stuff on he had knee work done in the off season, had to get some draining done on it. Maybe it's just that. And then Cam Jones, that is unfortunate because no matter how much I get yelled at in the comments section, I believe that Cam Jones does need these practices. I think that the linebacker crew I don't think they take six. I do not think they take six linebackers. I think you've got your starting three. You've got Jack Cochran, and you have one more guy. And guys, I think that's Jeffrey Bassa. So I think Cam Jones needs to find a way to pry Jack Cochran's hands off of the special teams ace role, and he needs these practices. Then we get this from Pete as well. Looks like Jalen Moore will be working at left guard today. I have been rooting for Kingsley Suamataia. I don't know at this point if that's the right move. We have a follow-up from this. Christian Ainsworth, Jalen Moore, and Josh Simmons just bulldozed a lane for Pop. If this is week one starting combo, it's easy to see why. And Edde Resurrection followed that up. Definitely something to keep an eye on in the preseason. Josh Simmons, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith are locks. Interested to see how well Jalen Moore holds up at left guard with Jawan Taylor at right tackle. Now, the ultimate irony here would be Jalen Moore gets the nod at left guard. Looks like a Pro Bowler. And then something happens with Jawan Taylor, or he needs to take a couple games off, or something happens with Jawan Taylor, and Kingsley Suamataia has to step on the field at right tackle and looks like an all-pro there. That would be the ultimate irony. But at this point, I just want the best five on the field. And if that does not include Kingsley Suamataia, then it doesn't include Kingsley Suamataia. If it doesn't include Jawan Taylor, then it doesn't include Jawan Taylor. I really don't care. I am getting too antsy for football. And, well, here, let's just go into this. This is the RAS for Jalen Moore. And he scores a 7.49 for offensive guard. Guys, I'm 90% positive he would be 8.5 or 9. Score 8.5 or 9 out of 10 at offensive guard. This is at offensive tackle, pardon me. You have 33 and 3/8 inch arms, 11-inch hands. That 6'4" is a 1.41 score at offensive tackle. It would not be a 1.41 score at offensive guard. I believe that would bring that score all the way up into the 7s. So 311 pounds is okay. 27 reps on the bench press is a good number. 30.5-inch vert, 8 10-inch broad jump. The 40-yard dash, I'm not sure exactly how bad that would be at offensive guard, but I think it would score higher than a 5.94. So this is an athlete that would absolutely pass as an offensive guard. And if you move him in there and he is able to team with Josh Simmons and just bulldoze people, that's a good sign, even if it is, I wasn't able to see who the defensive tackles were on the field, but I don't care. I just want the best offensive guards and offensive tackles on the field. So just something to keep an eye on looking forward. Then we have, of course, your daily dose of Tyquan Thornton from Taylor Burr. Just before practice moved indoors, Mahomes hit Thornton on a clean route. Trust continues to build. The question now is, so I don't think there's any question that Tyquan Thornton is on the team. The question I have for you now is, okay, so Rashee Rice has looked really good in camp. Xavier Worthy has looked really good in camp. Jalen Royals has looked really good in camp. Where's Hollywood Brown been? Even when he was on the field, before this little minor setback that he has had, where was he? I'm on record saying I think Jalen Royals is going to be the number 3 wide receiver by, week 4, week 6, week 8 at the latest. I think he will be wide receiver number 3. Will Hollywood Brown fall back past Tyquan Thornton? Again, read that. That is Mahomes hitting Thornton. There are, we've had tweets in the past couple of days of Gardner Minshew hitting Thornton. I don't think we've ever had one of Bailey Zappi hitting Thornton, but some of the highlights that we have from Thornton are not with Patrick Mahomes. A lot of them really are. Is it possible that Hollywood Brown becomes the best wide receiver 5 in the NFL? The absolute most dangerous wide receiver 5 in the history of the league? Is that possible? I mean, he would be better than Zahir Hakim in my books, right? What are we doing here with Hollywood Brown? I don't know. And then we get this, and this is where I have to go off on a tangent. Mahomes with a deep ball to rookie running back Brashard Smith. Here's the ball right here. Here's Brashard Smith right here. Here's a whole lot of grass in front of him. Now, nearest I can tell, this is a 35 or 40-yard downfield pass. We continue to see not just Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs deciding to target running backs in the passing game. We continue to see them hitting running backs way, way, way downfield. This is not, we've always got someone in the flats. This is not, once in a while we have somebody run a wheel route. This is not, our running backs have to stay back and pass protect. This is not, sometimes we send them on a fake handoff, and then they just do a 5-yard out route after that. This is none of those things. These are running backs being targeted 35, 40 yards downfield. So I want to go over some things, because what I found here is this is going to get you revved up. This is going to get you revved up, guys. So here's Kareem Hunt. Never really got appreciated for what he did in the passing game after leaving the Kansas City Chiefs. In his rookie season, he caught 53 passes. 53 passes in 2017 for 455 yards and 3 touchdowns. And remember, at that time, Kareem Hunt in his rookie year ran for 13, received for 400. We had an 1,800-yard, 11 touchdown running back, and we thought that was the steal of the draft. Remember that? How wild it is now in retrospect? But 53 passes, 455 yards, and 3 touchdowns as a rookie. Then the Patrick Mahomes-ing. In his second season, his receptions fell to 26, but he still had a respectable 378 yards. But his yards per reception jumped from 8.6 all the way up to 14.5. Okay. And then he caught 7 touchdowns that season. He only ran for 7 touchdowns in 2018, and he caught 7 touchdowns in 2018. And then he decided that he was going to do his best to be Pete Stoyanovich in it was a hotel hallway, wasn't it? Whatever happened. Done with it. It was years ago now. Still bitter about it, but it happened. It's still difficult for me to believe that he was in Cleveland for half a decade. It does not feel that long ago to me. Anyway, and then last season when he came back to the Kansas City Chiefs, never really got off the ground in the receiving department. 23 catches, 176 yards. So he had a respectable average per reception at 7.7, just wasn't really utilized all that much. Then we get to Isaiah Pacheco, the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2022, 2023, and part of 2024. Never really got much going in the receiving department. Now, his rookie year, he caught only 13 passes for 130 yards. He was more involved in 2023, catching 44 passes for 244 yards, but that is only a 5.5-yard average. Not really all that much to write home about. And then before the 2024 season, there was all of this buzz that Isaiah Pacheco had been practicing running routes, etc. And he did look decent when he was catching the ball, but really not on the field enough to show off perhaps what it was that he had worked himself into over the offseason. Only 7 games, only 6 starts, got just 12 receptions for 79 yards. Okay, fine, but he was taking, it seemed, that next step. And this training camp, we have seen a whole lot more of Isaiah Pacheco streaking down the field. Now, guys, let me just interject real quick. What we're working up to is going to get you absolutely giddy, okay? Absolutely giddy. I cannot believe I had never drawn these dots together before. And if anyone else, you see anybody else making these talking points, you know where they got them. Okay. Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, he's never played for the Kansas City Chiefs before, and he has never done much in the receiving department before. He has also been the quietest running back thus far in training camp. I do think that he is a useful and good athlete. You see in his rookie year, he had 963 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 20 targets, 19 receptions, 137 yards. That's a 7.2 yard average per catch. But after that, limited time on the field, didn't make a dent in the receiving game. That said, he has the speed. He has the shiftiness. He has everything you would think you would try to target in a running back to find someone who was good in the receiving game. He is a little bit like Jerick McKinnon. We're going to come back to Jerick McKinnon. So he looks the part of a receiving running back. It is possible that he can get that going. He has not yet in his career. He has not played with Patrick Mahomes. Then we come to Brashard Smith. Obviously a rookie, so he has no NFL statistics. But there is something very interesting about his college statistics when it comes to what the Kansas City Chiefs have been doing with their running backs this preseason. Freshman, sophomore, and junior years for Brashard Smith, he was a wide receiver. 199 yards as a freshman, 2 touchdowns, 308 yards as a sophomore, no touchdowns. His junior year, he had 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of success. But he transferred to SMU, became a running back, where he ran for 1,332 yards and 14 touchdowns, running for 95.1 yards per game. Very impressive season. You hope that it's not just the step down in competition, but that is possible. It is a possibility that's what happened. I don't believe that's what happened, but it's possible. But the impressive thing for this conversation about Brashard Smith's super junior season in college, so freshman, sophomore, junior, super junior season, is this. Brashard Smith had the most receiving yards of his career as a running back. 327 yards on 39 receptions, an 8.4 yard average, and 4 touchdowns. Now, if we're going to get meta here, when I talk about Brashard Smith's super junior season in college, you know what it reminds me of? I almost dare not say it. It reminds me of Clyde. Remember, Clyde had huge running numbers, respectable receiving numbers, and lots of touchdowns in both areas. Here we have Brashard Smith even averaging over 100 yards per game cumulatively, 95.1 rushing and 8.4 receiving per game, a total of 18 touchdowns that super junior season. But he is a converted wide receiver, very fast. Not the most agile, decent explosiveness, good explosiveness, not as explosive as he is fast, but he's very fast. He reminds me a little bit physically of Mecole Hardman. So if I'm going to make 2 comparisons to Brashard Smith, that will make absolutely no one like him. Anyway, let's talk about Jerick McKinnon, because Jerick McKinnon is the prototype for what you hope Brashard Smith can be. Jerick McKinnon, by the way, had a very uneventful career as a running back. Played from 2014 to 2023, ended his entire career with 2,650 rushing yards. Ended his career averaging 388 rushing yards per season. Ended his career averaging 300 receiving yards per season. But there is one standout year in his career, that being 2022. In 2022, Jerick McKinnon had only 291 rushing yards and a touchdown, so that's not particularly all that great. But he had 512 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. He had half of his receiving touchdowns, nearly half. 9 out of his 20 career receiving touchdowns in 1 year. 2022. Now, let's get to Patrick Mahomes, because this is all so that Patrick Mahomes can break 6,000 passing yards. Right? That's what we all want to see. Here's Patrick Mahomes' career thus far. You know, we talked about Kareem Hunt having a real big season in 2018. And we just talked about Jerick McKinnon having a great big season in 2022. Do those numbers mean anything to you? Because they do to Patrick Mahomes. 2018, Patrick Mahomes throws for 5,097 yards and 50 touchdowns. 2020, or that was 2018. Did I say 2022? 2018, he throws for 5,097 yards, 50 touchdowns. 2022, 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns. Both of those years, he had an exceptional receiving season from one of his running backs. Kareem Hunt in 2018 with 7 receiving touchdowns. Jerick McKinnon in 2022 with 9 receiving touchdowns. Both of those years, Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. Both of the years that Patrick Mahomes had an outstanding receiving season from a running back, he won NFL MVP. Were it not for something untimely at the very end of the 2018 season, it is my belief that in both of those seasons he would have won the MVP and the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is targeting running backs 40 yards downfield in practice routinely. Patrick Mahomes is planning on using running backs in the receiving game 40 yards downfield routinely. Brashard Smith is very fast. Elijah Mitchell is very fast. Isaiah Pacheco is very fast. Kareem Hunt's not fast, but he is deceptively athletic. I mean, just incredibly deceptively athletic. All 4 of those guys have the tools to be dangerous in the receiving game. All 4 of those guys have the tools to have an incredible receiving season for the Kansas City Chiefs. All 4 of those guys could have the 400, 500-yard, 7-touchdown, 9-touchdown season that gives Mahomes another MVP and brings the Lombardi back to Arrowhead. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, I will be back later today with another video. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.